Hello everyone and welcome. In this video I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on Fear the Walking Dead Season 7 Episode 5. As is the norm with all my videos, I won't be holding back on any spoilers, so please do keep that in mind. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin. I'm filming this video in the evening of Saturday the 13th of November, and yesterday on the Friday I had to have an endoscopy done at my local hospital. It's something that I've had booked in for a while now, and basically what they do is they put this long tube down your throat which has like a camera on the end. I think it's called an endoscope, and they put it down your throat and it goes all the way down your esophagus and into your stomach, and they do it so they can have a look what's going on and see, you know, what's wrong with you basically. And even though the procedure itself was only like 5 minutes long, it was not a pleasant experience at all. I kept gagging all the time, which, you know, doesn't really help because you can't just like cough up the tube because they're pushing the tube down your throat, so the whole time you're just like going whilst they're putting it further and further down. And even a day later today, my throat still hurts after having it done. So yeah, it was not nice. And you're probably thinking to yourself, Josh, why the hell are you telling me this? Are you mental? Why are you talking about this? Well, I'll tell you why I'm talking about it. The reason why I'm talking about it is because if you gave me the choice of having another endoscopy done or having to watch through this episode of Fear the Walking Dead again, I'd choose another endoscopy. That's right, I would rather choke on an endoscope than have to sit through scenes like this again. And that's not even the worst bit. I mean, she also gets up on the ropes and then jumps off, and it goes all slow-mo while she's flying through the air and stabs a walker, and it's just fucking atrocious. I mean, you can have a look for yourself. It's just terrible. Bloody hell, I just can't deal with this show anymore. Fear is a parody. It's a parody show. It's a parody of itself. Like, what the hell is going on? It almost feels like the writers of this show, it feels like they're intentionally making it bad. They're trying to make it as bad as possible and sabotaging the show on purpose, because I fail to understand how writers can be this incompetent and how you can have writers this bad. It must be that they're trolling us or something. I don't understand. Maybe Chambers and Goldberg, maybe they both like jack off to seeing me rant and rave. Maybe that's what turns them on, so they keep doing it on purpose just to see me pissed off. Who knows? It could be possible. Who knows? Okay, I'm sounding a bit crazy now, but my point is I just don't know how we can go from like the first 3 seasons of this show, which were quite grounded, well, as grounded as a zombie show can be, but you know, quite grounded, quite serious, and now we're at a show where we have slow-mo scenes of people jumping off wrestling rings and doing, I don't know what the wrestling move is, I don't watch wrestling, but you know, like picking the walker up and slamming it on its head in the ring. How the hell have we got to this point? Can someone please wake me up from this nightmare? What the fuck is going on? If I wrote a list of like everything that I hate about TV shows, you know, and everything that pisses me off, this episode would pretty much kind of tick off every single point. I think the only trope that this episode doesn't have, which I always complain about, is there's no hallucinations or visions or sequences of characters seeing a dead person or anything like that. None of that's on this episode, but pretty much everything else that this episode has is stuff that I complain about all the time and stuff that I hate. Yeah, and I just can't stand this episode, so let's talk about it. For starters, I hate the way this episode looks. It looks bloody terrible. There's too many just like bright yellows and bright greens, bright yellow lights everywhere, and it just looks hideous. It looks so ugly. I mean, there's this scene in particular here where it looks like the editor has just like discovered the lens flare for the first time and discovered all the glow effects, and he's put them up to the max, because why is the light coming through the window so fucking bright? I feel like I need to be wearing sunglasses watching this scene. Turn the fucking colour down, man. Turn the brightness down. It looks horrible. The dialogue, as expected of Fear the Walking Dead, is once again fucking atrocious. So Sherry and Dwight have become like this outlaw couple since the nukes went off, and they have this very cool outlaw name. Well, it's bloody terrible, but the name they have is the Dark Horses. This is what everyone calls them, the Dark Horses. Oh no, not the Dark Horses! Ah! It's not a scary name. The Dark Horses isn't a name that instills fear into someone. You know, if someone told me the Dark Horses are coming for you, I don't know, that just makes me think of like a sports team, like some kind of underdogs. Like Leicester when they won the Premier League. What, is bloody Kasper Schmeichel, their goalkeeper, going to come after me? I know this means nothing to Americans, but you know, a Dark Horse is, to me, a team or a sporting person who you don't expect to win, but then does win. But now they're like, we're the Dark Horses. It's just such a fucking shit name. I mean, you might as well call them the Black Pigeons or the Night Sky Turtles. Like, that's how unintimidating this name is. Oh, not the Dark Horses. Oh, come on. It's just such a piss poor name, and I can't take it seriously when characters in this episode are going, so you're the Dark Horses that we've heard about. Like, oh my god. I mean, have a look for yourself. Have a look for yourself. These clips just say it all. It's so bad.
Is that?
The Dark Horses? Sure looks like it.
Actually, I do. You call yourselves the Dark Horses? The Dark Horses? For your request?
Also, what annoys me is that Howard, once again, just so happens to know where the protagonists are this week. Oh, sorry, not the protagonists, the Dark Horses. He knows where the Dark Horses are, and he just so happens to wait for them, and he ambushes them, and he does this every week. It seems like every week he's just waiting for the characters. He's waiting somewhere, and he shows up, and he's like, Strand told me to come get you. It's like, it's the same thing. He does the same thing all the fucking time. And how does he keep teleporting to different locations? How does he know where everyone is? He must have learnt these superpowers from Morgan. That's the only explanation I have. Moving on, this episode also does the whole thing of killing characters off who I have no emotional attachment to, who I don't care about, and then it's like it expects me to be sad. And I hate this. I've complained about this many times, and yeah, it happens on a couple of occasions this episode. I mean, the first is when the family who Dwight and Sherry spend all of about 2 minutes with at the start of the episode. So this is the family who they came into contact with at the end of season 6 and who they hid in the bunker with underground when hid from the nuke. So they spend about 2 minutes with them in this episode, and then in the 20-minute mark, I guess, they go back to where their house is, where they were hiding, and they find them dead. And then Sherry's getting all upset, and then Dwight, struggles to put the kid down, and I just don't care. I'm going to repeat what I've said many times before already. If I don't know the character, if I have no emotional attachment to them, I do not care if they die. So stop trying to make me feel bad and get upset for characters dying who I don't even fucking know who they are. I don't even know their names. What is the point? I've watched nearly 11 seasons of The Walking Dead. We're on season 7 of Fear the Walking Dead. I've seen this so many times before. Maybe if you tried this in, I don't know, the first couple of seasons of the show, maybe I'd feel something. If you showed me a random family dying, or you wouldn't have to really develop them much because it would still be quite new to me, quite raw to me, and I'd think, oh wow, this is quite sad. But add the well beyond on as well. It's like I've watched nearly 19, 20 seasons in total of the Walking Dead universe. I don't care about random people dying who I know nothing about. Why are you still doing this? It also happens later on in the episode where the new character Mickey, the wrestler lady, she wants to go find her husband, but it turns out that he's dead and he's already a walker. And then we get this scene of her crying, and she can't put him down. And I've seen this 1,000 times before. Do you expect me to feel anything from this? Because I don't. This Mickey character was only in the episode for like 20 minutes up to this point. I don't know her husband, the character who plays her husband. Never seen him before. He's never been on the show before. And now he's dead. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. After Mickey finds her dead husband, we get some of the wrestling scenes, which I've already showed you earlier, which are just absolutely terrible. They kind of speak for themselves. And to be honest, I would rather watch more scenes of Morgan sitting on the toilet than watch that. Watching a man have a shit is more appealing to me than watching that wrestling scene. Another thing that really bugs me as well is that characters just keep taking their masks off in a nuclear apocalypse. Like, what is the point of having this setting if your characters can just take their masks off and suffer no consequences at all? What's the point? Keep the damn masks on.
Lose the masks. Readings are clear here.
Oh, but the readings are okay in this area, so we can take our masks off and have a conversation. Well, isn't that just fucking fine and dandy and fucking convenient? Look, I'm sorry, but if I was living in a nuclear wasteland, I would not be taking my mask off until I got somewhere safe, until I got home, or until I got far away from, I don't know, the radiation zone or whatever it's called. I don't know the technical term, but until I got away from where the radioactivity was. I would not be taking that thing off. Okay? Certainly not to talk to random people. And also, all it takes for Dwight and Sherry to take their masks off is for Howard to go, the readings are fine here. Why are you trusting this guy anyway? He's just a random dude. How do you even know he's telling the truth? He could be lying to you. He could just want you dead. He could, be on a suicide mission and want to get radiation poisoning and want you all to die as well. He could be a lunatic. It's the end of the world. Why are you trusting random people? Some random is going to come up to you and go, oh, it's okay, take your mask off now. There's no radiation here. Oh, okay, I'll believe you. Why? Another question, why do we keep getting these awful shots in this episode where the camera is just like focusing on the characters' eyes in their masks? I mean, it just looks ugly. It's distracting. It doesn't add anything to the show at all. And every time, a scene in which these shots appeared, in which these shots happened, I just found myself thinking, look, I just want to go to the next bit, go to the next scene where I can actually see the characters' faces and see their body and see what's going on, because this didn't add anything to me. It didn't make me feel anxious or nervous or anything. It just made me feel annoyed. Like, these shots just looked shit. Another complaint that I have, another thing that pissed me off, is that Sherry and Dwight have an argument, and then Sherry just decides to leave Dwight and go off with Mickey and leave Dwight on his own. Bear in mind at this point that both Dwight and Sherry know that the people who killed the family they were staying with are out there and looking for them because they ran into them earlier on in the episode and they were trying to kill them and they killed the family, and they're out there looking for them and they want both of them dead, and yet Sherry goes, oh, it's okay, I'll leave Dwight on his own. Sherry, you fucking turnip, what are you doing? Turnip, where did that come from? But yeah, what are you doing? Oh, I'll just leave Dwight on his own whilst those people who are trying to kill us are out there. Yeah, that seems like a clever thing to do. And oh, what a surprise, the killer then finds Dwight when he's on his own. Who would have seen this coming? Who would have seen this coming? How did I predict this? I must be such a genius to predict this. Here are next week's lottery numbers because I'm so good at predicting things apparently. Oh my god, how did I work out that this was going to happen? I must be a genius. Bloody hell, sarcasm off the charts. But anyway, there's no need to worry because with one whistle, Dwight signals to the horse to kick the dude in the back, and now the dude's like paralyzed or can't get up or whatever. I don't know how Dwight did this. I don't know. Maybe you can signal horses to do this. I don't know. But yeah, it was a bit dumb. And then this guy gets eaten by walkers because like the noises attracted walkers, I guess, or whatever. So the walkers are coming over. And this dude has a knife on him. He's on the floor. He has a knife. And he doesn't even get it out. He just lays there and gets eaten. He's like, oh, you said you had a code, Dwight. It's like, you've got a knife on you. Why are you not stabbing these walkers in the head? Why are you just laying there getting eaten? Why does anything happen on this show? None of it makes any sense. Something else which I've just realised that I don't care about on this show is Padre, which is like the supposed safe haven that all the characters are working towards, trying to get to. It's just getting really boring. Every season on Fear, it seems like the characters are trying to find a safe place to stay, and it's just the same thing happening over and over again. At least The Walking Dead realised that by the end of season 5, that formula was getting stale. So they had the characters settle down in one place, and then, they found other communities, but they didn't leave their home, and they just had these communities, and it built up, this larger picture of all these places that were around them, and they made friends, and they went to war, blah, blah, blah. And at least The Walking Dead realised that you can't just have characters looking for a home every season because it's so fucking boring. Honestly, if Fear the Walking Dead ran for like another 20 seasons, in every season, I bet they would still be looking for a new home every single season. Like Morgan's like 75 or something by season, 30, and he's still going, we're going to find a new home, a place to live for all of us. Still doing the same thing over and over again. It's just boring. There's no point to this show. I don't know why it's taken me so long to realise that, but yeah, I just watched this episode and I was like, there is actually no point to this show. We're just going in circles. There's no end game. I just keep searching for a place to stay. What is the point? The Well Beyond, I gave a lot of shit last season. I think rightly so because it was pretty bad. But I am enjoying season 2 now. And I think part of the reason why, apart from the fact that it just seems to be a much far better show than Fear and actually seems to be quite good and interesting, is the fact that there is an actual plot. There is a story. There's an end point. It's not just characters going, oh, we've got to find another place to stay. Oh, we've got to find this. We've got to do this. We've got to... there's actually some point to it. There's no point to Fear. There's no point to the show at all, except just to annoy me. One thing that I did like about this episode, however, yes, here we go, something that I did actually like, is that we got a sneak peek at Iron Man 4. So it looks like a new Iron Man, or Iron Lady, should I say, or Iron Heart, isn't it, is going to use Tony Stark's first suit by the looks of it, which could be an interesting direction for the franchise to go. So we'll see how that pans out. Did not expect an MCU crossover, but there you go. I don't really know what else to say about this episode. I mean, normally I kind of go through like a recap of the plot as well and go through everything, but I honestly just can't be bothered anymore. Like, I don't feel the show is worthy of me spending my time going through the story. There's not much to it anyway this week. Like I said, it's basically Dwight and Sherry go on the road and meet that wrestler lady, and some people tried to kill them. That's about it. I mean, Strand does briefly feature in this episode, and I like that. He's the best part of the episode, and we do briefly go to his tower, but he's just not in it for long enough. Once again, he has, his little cameo, and then he disappears. The characters leave the tower. We could have actually spent time at the tower with Dwight and Sherry and Strand, seeing him with his people, seeing more about the place and learn more about it. We could have spent more time there. But instead, the writers decided that watching the characters wrestle walkers was more important than actually learning about the main villain and developing the main villain of their show. And that just shows how bloody terrible writers they are. Why would you choose the wrestling ring over some scenes at the tower? Over some more time with Strand? It doesn't make any sense. Coleman Domingo must have had the easiest job in the world this season, because all he has to do is get dressed up and he has like one line of dialogue, he laughs a bit, and then that's it. See you next episode. Here's your paycheck. It's the easiest job in the world. He's barely in the show. He doesn't do anything. Yet he's still the best part of it. Why? Why are they not using him? The show is just a mess. It really is. I mean, this reminds me of when I was reviewing Fear back in, season 4 and season 5, the dark days, and it was kind of expected that every episode was terrible. And even though I didn't like 6B particularly, I didn't go into 6B thinking that every episode would be bad, because it did have a few that I liked, and because of 6A, because of how good that was, I was expecting to like some of it, but now, here we are in season 7, and I'm just watching this show every week and I'm thinking this is going to be awful. And then it is awful. It's just so terrible. It's a joke, right? The show is an absolute joke, but I don't know anyone who's laughing. Watching Fear the Walking Dead is like having an endoscopy and a colonoscopy at the same time while some piranhas feast on your testicles. It's fucking painful. It's painful. It's uncomfortable. I was going to say it's a waste of time, but actually having medical stuff is not a waste of time. Having medical procedures, but then why would anyone be having their testicles bitten by... I don't know where I'm going with this, but anyway, honestly, if I was Alicia, Devon and Carey, I would be begging them to let me leave the show. I'd just say, look, can you just write Alicia off? Say that she's left to go and find her mother and, try and find if Madison is actually dead. I'm surprised she hasn't anyway left to try and find her mother's body, and to prove that she's actually dead. It does seem bizarre to me that she just kind of accepted it without actually ever seeing her die. But yeah, I'd just be saying, let me leave the show. Let me leave the show. Save your character's dignity while you can. Because this show has just gone down the toilet, my friends. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. So yeah, that's about it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you agree with me or do you disagree? Did you actually like this episode? Because it does seem that some people do like this episode, but I couldn't stand it. So let me know your thoughts below, and I shall see you all very soon. And hopefully I'll have the Well Beyond Season 2 Episode 7 review out soon, because that episode is really damn good. That is really good. I'm enjoying that show a lot. But Fear the Walking Dead, I am not enjoying. I am hating it at the moment. So yeah, let me know your thoughts below, and I'll see you all very soon. Take care, goodbye.